They're told by the U.S., oh, yeah, we are going to take all those refugees. We're going to, I mean, hell, we created this thing. This is our proxy war. The least we can do is have you over at our place, right? Celebrating the death of Russians. And unfortunately, that is Lindsey Graham. I know it's weird to call him a U.S. government official because that sounds somehow official, whereas he is just an annoying little troll of sorts. Yet he is, by definition, a U.S. government official, which is really problematic. I don't know why they've ever let him into that office that he's held for roughly 900 years. But here he is talking to Zelensky, and some of it's a little hard to hear, but and his best bud Zelensky. You'll see they hug, they make out, they then shave each other's necks. It's a very intimate thing that goes on between them. Best buds. But anyway, this clip is, I mean, these people are sociopaths, and so maybe I shouldn't be surprised. It's insane.
Nice to meet you. How are you, sir? We have, I think, the whole meeting.
Thank you very much. Thanks, United States people of the United States, for all big support. President Biden, bipartisan support, Congress, and really, we thank you so much. Free or die.
Free or die.
Now you are free,
Yes.
and we will be.
And the Russians are dying.
It's the best money we've ever spent.
Thank you so much.
Did you catch that? Zelensky says, live free or die. And he says, we're free. Lindsey Graham says, and the Russians are dying. Best money we ever spent. These are goddamn sociopaths. I mean, that's the definition of best money we ever spent. Sending $100 billion to Ukraine, partially going into the pockets of Nazis. But the reports by CBS and CNN saying that 70%, up to 70% of the weaponry is not actually getting to the battle zone, is actually just disappearing into terrorist hands or whoever's hands, whoever feels like they need some rocket launchers. These people are sociopaths at minimum. And, you know, Lindsey Graham is a heap of garbage. That's a given. But this is and this is the aspect of this that I don't think you may have heard this clip. I mean, they might have even played this clip on MSNBC, but for all I know, no, actually, they probably wouldn't, because they probably like the celebration of people dying in war. War is horrific all around. And so we shouldn't, there should be no celebration of, isn't this fun? People are dying. Cool. Great. Best money we ever spent. Look at him smiling. How many, let me ask you this. How many Americans are dying in this? Oh, essentially zero, except for the American journalists that are targeted when they go over there. I mean, I don't know if any of them have died, but they are targeted. However, essentially zero. Meanwhile, so it's Ukrainians dying. It's Ukrainians, it's Russians, it's Russian Ukrainians. It's, let's remember that 15,000 were killed before Russia even invaded. 15,000 were killed in the Donbass region by Ukrainian fighters, Ukrainian neo-Nazis, etc. And here they are, bros, hanging out, celebrating the death of many people.
Thank you so much.
No, it's, we're on 4. Let's see. It makes life possible.
Yeah. Yes.
Just totally revolting. And they made a point there. Zelensky made a point of saying bipartisan effort. Isn't it lovely that the two parties that secretly agree on 90% of the structural issues of our country, isn't it lovely to see them just coming together to kill innocent people, to destroy a country? I mean, isn't it beautiful to see? And, I don't even need to get into what the hell Zelensky is. I mean, with his millions, if not billions, in tax havens and the hidden away. Seymour Hersh recently revealed that $400 million, the Pentagon knows about $400 million that's been skimmed off the top by Zelensky and his government as we send billions, hundreds of billions to Ukraine. But 400 million, not really that much compared to 100 billion. 400 million, just a drop in the bucket. Go ahead, take a taste. Take a taste. I want to now show, this is Lindsey Graham. Again, he was there with McCain. You see him in the background there. This is Lindsey Graham from 2016. So this is after the Maidan coup that the U.S. backed. Lindsey Graham and John McCain, both of whom never seen a war they didn't love, never seen a country they didn't want to bomb. They go over to Ukraine and they tell. So this is years. And by the way, you could show this clip and other clips to people who act like Russia just invaded out of the blue. We would never. This doesn't mean I support the Russian invasion because I'm opposed to war. I'm not for any war. However, for those people who think like we had no idea what happened, they just we had no idea they were going to do something crazy like that. Our senators, our Congress people were over there in years earlier. 2016. They were also there in 2013, 2014. Victoria Nuland was in the square handing out whatever it was, roses and chocolates or something, creating the color revolution, the Maidan revolution, U.S. backed in 2014. So here is McCain and Lindsey Graham in 2016.
Your fight is our fight.
Ваша боротьба – це наша боротьба.
You're just think of that sentence. Your fight is our fight. He's saying that to Nazis in Ukraine. For those of you who are American, how many of you feel like their fight is our fight? How many of you feel like, yeah, that absolutely, I am in this equally? Is Lindsey Graham going to be on the front lines? Is he going to take his sociopathic little troll face over there and actually be in the middle of gunfire? Your fight is our fight. Oh, really? Really, Lindsey? Yeah? You're going to be out there? No. It's more like your proxy war is our proxy war. Your war is our proxy war is what it is. And again, this is 2016.
2017 will be the year of offense.
Рік 2017 рік буде ріком нападу.
All of us will go back to Washington and we will push the case against Russia.
Ми всі повернемося до Вашингтону і ми будемо відстоювати санкції проти Росії.
Enough of a Russian aggression.
Досить вже російської агресії.
It is time for them to pay a heavier price.
Час вже щоб вони заплатили важчу.
So there you go, Lindsey Graham speaking in 2016, long before the Russian invasion. So for anyone who thought that the U.S. was not involved in this way earlier, that the U.S. had no role in this way earlier, you can watch these videos. And here's the same guy just yesterday or 2 days ago telling Zelensky, Russians are dying, best money we ever spent. I want to show you some of the amounts of how much aid has been sent to Ukraine. So here's some charts showing how much aid has been sent to Ukraine. Now, the reason this does not have a total of over 100 billion. It says total is less than 100. What is it? We got 60, 70, 80 something. Let's see if they have that 75 billion somewhere in there. The reason, there it is at the top. Always a good idea when you're trying to add up a chart. Just look to see whether they put the goddamn number at the top of the chart. Man, Lee, you were really knocking it out the park today. Total expenditure 76 billion, and I know many of you know it's over 100 billion. So why does it say 76? Because this is the amount that had already been sent. This is not the promised amount. The U.S. has now allotted over 100 billion. So that's the difference in numbers. Anyway, so here's what's been sent over there. Humanitarian, 3.9 billion. Yeah, and whatever that means. Emergency food assistance, healthcare. I mean, let's be honest, though. It's the U.S. doesn't actually give a flying crap about healthcare of the Ukrainian people. So chances are even that money is going towards like healthcare of the soldiers. Like it's probably the various medical devices and things the U.S. has sent there to help Ukrainian soldiers, Ukrainian Nazis be well enough to continue to fight, because the U.S. wouldn't actually send just healthcare to Ukrainian people. We don't actually care. There's actually a story that doesn't get enough coverage, which is we have promised Ukrainian refugees can come to the United States, and even they many of them are having an incredibly tough time getting into the U.S., getting citizenship when they're told by the U.S., oh yeah, we are going to take all those refugees. Hell, we created this thing. This is our proxy war. The least we can do is have you over at our place, right? Least we can do is have you over for a meal. And then they show up and just a bunch of bureaucratic, wait, you come from where? I haven't heard of that country. Is it near Lithuania? Ukrainia, you said? Not familiar. Financial aid, which is that's the 400 million pocketed by Zelensky and his friends. Financial, $26 billion. Security assistance, that means weapons of war, $18 billion. Weapons and equipment, again means weapons of war, $23 billion. Grants and loans for weapons and equipment, again means weapons of war, weapons for killing, $4.7 billion. So let's see. Oh, yeah. And then there's one more chart that breaks down. This is the type of weaponry that continues to be sent over there. And I think the most important thing about this chart is apparently whoever put it together, the Center for Foreign Relations, they didn't realize that they titled the chart How Ukraine is Tapping the U.S. Arsenal, but ARS for short. So literally they titled this chart How Ukraine is Tapping U.S. ARS, which inappropriate, okay? Inappropriate. In a time of war, please don't title your charts how they're tapping our arse. Okay? Could you do that for me? Could you do me that one favor? If we're going to send $100 billion over to Nazis, the least you can do is not title the chart how they're tapping our ass. Okay? Can you do that? I don't think that's a lot to ask. Seriously. Jesus, you people. And then I'm not going to go through the whole list, but they go through all infantry and arms, air defense, air-to-ground missiles, manned aircraft, artillery, explosive drones, surveillance drones, coastal defense, tanks and armored carriers. It's an insane amount of weaponry sent, again, to try and bleed Russia. Here is the actual full amount allotted of weapons sent to Ukraine. It now stands at $113 billion of aid. Don't you love when you can send things for killing others to a country and call it aid? We're giving aid to, you're sending stuff to murder others in your proxy war. It's called aid. It's like calling a golden shower lemonade. Aid is not appropriate. This is not aid. These are murderous, psychopathic weapons sent for a psychopathic business. This is a business deal. These are corporations involved in a business deal of killing. And Lindsey Graham, who says your war is our war, he ain't there. He ain't on the front lines. No, he's hiding in this little hovel somewhere. Since Russia launched its invasion of Ukraine less than 1 year ago, Congress has approved more than $113 billion of aid and military assistance to support the Ukrainian government and allied nations. The fiscal year 2023 omnibus appropriations package included an additional $47 billion of emergency funding to provide humanitarian, military, and economic assistance to Ukraine on top of the $65 billion of funding already approved in 3 other emergency funding packages enacted by Congress. Bipartisan, because they all agree. They all agree on pushing us towards nuclear war, pushing us towards the goddamn end times, pushing us towards a horrific destruction of a country that was doing quite well. Comparatively, compared to how it's doing now, Ukraine was doing quite well until the U.S. insisted on putting them in the middle of this bloodbath. In case you've forgotten how close we are to nuclear war, this, even covered by the Washington Post, the leaks have shown that Russia nearly shot down a British spy plane near Ukraine. And I think most of you understand that if Russia shoots down a British plane, I mean, that is essentially a world war. That is a catastrophe of unbelievable levels. And this, you might go, well, that doesn't say a lot for Russia. They should have known that was a British plane. Okay, fine, maybe. But it also doesn't say a lot for us and Britain flying planes in and very close to Russian airspace, making Russia think that maybe they're Ukrainian planes. I don't know what they thought. But the point is, they actually fired a missile. The Russian jet actually fired a missile. They say in the article it's unclear whether it was accidentally fired or they fired it and just missed. But either way, they fired a missile at what turned out to be a British spy plane. And if that had been hit, who knows where we'd be right now. This is the level of psychopathy that our leaders are. Psychopathic morons. A combination. I've tried to get somebody to create this word, whatever it is, a combination of morons and psychopaths. Okay? We need that word. We need it immediately. We need it yesterday because we are run by psychopathic morons.